Hello there everyone, and welcome back for another Farming Simulator 17 tutorial. And today I'm going to be covering chaff and silage. Now chaff is a product in Farming Simulator that's used to make silage. You have to collect it, ferment it. It basically bakes in the sun under a blanket and ferments into silage. Now silage is a feed that you can give your animals, which is the second best thing you can feed them in the game actually, to get the second most amount of productivity out of them. To get the first, you need mixed ration or forage, it's called. And actually, one of the three ingredients to make forage is silage. So we'll be going through the steps how you go about making that. Now you need a certain kind of combine that's dedicated just for making chaff. And what it does is, a regular harvester, when it cuts the crop, it basically gets rid of the husk, gets rid of the leaves and stuff and the roots. It basically just takes the fruit off the plant, keeps that, and gets rid of the rest. Whether it turns it into straw or just blows it out into a fine mulch back into the field, that's what's being done with the regular combine. Now with these combines, it's taking the whole plant and ripping it apart. You don't get any fruit off your plant. It basically takes the whole plant and crushes it down into a mulch, which we call chaff, and use that to make silage. So chaff is something you usually don't start the game making. That's something that you get into after a while because these combines are so expensive. It is an expensive thing to get into. So right now we'll go over to the shop and I will show you what I mean. So there's your regular harvesters that you harvest fruit with. Here is your harvesters made for chaff production and chaff only. Now there's your different harvesters here. You can actually get this small little one. You're only going to cut about a row or two of corn at a time. But it is possible to make chaff earlier in the game. It's going to be slow going with this. Then you get into these monsters. And like I said, all they do is produce chaff. So you're not going to bear any fruit with any of these harvesters. Now with these harvesters, you're going to need a certain kind of header that goes with it. Now these headers, there's three different types of headers that come with your chaff combine. Now these headers here will turn grass into chaff. You can just cut grass with these. These ones here cut your regular fruit types and grass and turns it into chaff. So remember that there's two different headers there. Some will cut grass as well, and these ones here with the disc heads cut corn, and they just turn corn into chaff. Here's another corn one, here's another corn one. They just require more horsepower and more money to purchase. So on and so forth. That's actually for a different product altogether, but like that's the biggest one there basically. Let's see, 9 meters. That one's 9 meters as well. That one's 6 meters in work with. So you see what I mean. So we will kick up production of that soon. I want to take you over to the BGA because that is one of the two places where you'll be making silage from chaff. This is the BGA. It's on your map. You'll find it fairly easily. This is where you come to dump your chaff, to blanket it and ferment it into silage. Now you can also make silage out of grass, but chaff is a lot easier to come by. You can get chaff in bulk because you're using the whole crop. When you're cutting grass, you're just cutting grass. You know what I mean? You're just taking the top layer, so you need a lot more grass cutting to equivalent the same amount as you would from regular chaff. So anyway, you bring them down here as you're filling your tippers, and you're going to want to spread it out inside here. Now there's two pieces of equipment here that help speed that process along. Once you put it in here, you have to compact it and basically crush it down so it breaks it up, it's easier for it to dry out, so on and so forth. Now two of those pieces of equipment that'll help you crush that down is the Silage Roller, which you just attach to your tractor and run back and forth over with it. And then there's the Silage Shield, and basically that's the same as a plow on a tractor. It just, you know, if there's lumps of it or mounds in front of you, it's going to basically flatten it all out. So they will help in the process of turning it down into a fine mulch that you can blanket. And that's some of it over there that's already blanketed, actually. Go over and take a look at that. This one I just blanketed. It's kind of spread out, it looks funny, but this is slowly being fermented into silage. And this one here is already done. It's a little bit different from the last farming simulator, because once it was done in that one, the whole blanket disappeared. Here, just the ends are done. And as that is finished fermenting, that blanket will disappear altogether. But you can see the finished product underneath there poking through. So that is basically gold in this game. Let's go over and we'll check the prices of that. Now I notice it looks like it's not worth as much in this game, but it's still worth quite a bit. Now there is your silage in there. We don't have any right now. You don't have a place to store silage in these maps that come with the game, so that'll come later in some of the modded ones. But look, we get $413 per liter, which is pretty high compared to these prices, you know. Not bad at all. So you do get a pretty good buck for that. So you use that to sell it to make some quick cash, or you use it for feed for your animals, which, like I said, it's the second best feed in the game. So let us go and we'll farm some chaff. So just pick up your header as normal. Now you'll notice this too, with the pipe on this one, you press O to take it out. That's magnetically attracted to the closest tipper. That pipe will move 360 degrees. It'll move all the way around this. It don't matter what side the tipper is on. So that's really cool. This combine does not have a holding tank, so you constantly have to chase it with the tipper. Now if you're playing single player, the only way that's going to be possible is if you hire a worker to ride in the combine and you follow him with the tipper. But the minute he's full or you pull away, he's going to stop because he has nowhere to put the chaff. So what I normally do, if I'm playing single player and I'm collecting chaff, once I'm filled, I'll jump over to him and unhire him, so I'm not basically paying him there to sit there until I get back. You know what I mean? Not to be cheap or nothing, but I mean, it's smart when you think about it, because I mean, you're just paying the worker to sit there and wait for you to get back, right? So anyway, enough gabbing. So like I said, that's magnetically attracted to the tipper. It'll start with the front and work its way back slowly. So there I hired a worker. I'm going to jump back into my semi and start chasing him. Now if you've seen my other tutorial, I did a tutorial on cruise control. And that's a very awesome thing to have set up when you're doing stuff like this. Now you can see I'm just kept tapping W just to like not go too fast, not go too slow. But if I set my speed for the same speed that he's moving, I can set my cruise control by pressing 3 and I don't have to do that. Look, he's driving perfectly at the same time. All I have to concentrate on is pressing A and D to make sure I'm not too far or too close to him. See what I mean? So the cruise control really comes in handy there. So I'm just gonna do one row with him. I had to firm actually all this just to get a little bit in there to be able to blanket it, because you have to have so much in that pit before you're able to blanket it. Now like I said, the BGA has 4 huge pits that you can make that and produce it. But at your cow farm you also have one there, so you can have one close for basically feeding your animals, right? So you can feed them silage directly, which is the second best feed in the game, or you can use that to make mixed ration, which is the best. So I'm not going to keep going. I'm just going to jump back in him very quickly, unhire that worker, jump back in here, and I'm going to take a load down to the BGA so I can show you the process of compressing this. Excuse me guys, I got a bit of a cold. So yeah, it's not just a matter of dumping it in those pits. You actually have to compact it, and when you're compacting it, you're grinding it down, so you're actually losing some product when you do that process. like I said, there's 4 huge bunkers over here at the BGA, which is the mostly used for this type of work. And there's one at your cow farm if you'd rather take it there and use it for your cows and whatnot. So we're going to go in here. You can see the compacting, it's 22% done, and the chaff level now. If I press Control I, I'll start dumping that. That's a weird control to have to tip. But you don't get tip triggers in here. You have to actually dump it out yourself. Control I to close that again. And you can see that the compacting level went down, the fill level went up. So he's compacting it there a little bit. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to jump in this little tractor here, grab this Silage Shield. Oh, you get stuck in here sometimes. Silage Shield pushes it around a little bit and helps with the compacting process. Press X to unfold that. So yeah, it's like basically a little plow. So watch the compacting, 14%. Now see all the numbers kind of moving around? Now that is compacting it. It's pushing it around. I'm kind of lifting that up, pushing it back down a bit. I think the Silage Roller might be a little bit quicker than that. That's just for afterwards, basically to get it all together into one clump, you know what I mean? That's when the shield would be a little bit more handy. So let's click onto this and we'll try it with that. Okay, we're smushing it good now. 21%, 23, 24. So I'm not going to do the whole process. Basically, you get it down to 100. You get 100% compacting, and then you go back and get more, and keep the process up until you're able to see the trigger up top telling you that you can blanket it. So that is that for that review, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that. That is my silage and chaff review. If you liked it, leave a like, maybe leave a comment for anything upcoming that you would like to see on the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I do mod reviews and tutorials every second day, so please stay tuned and I'll be sure to bring some great mods your way. Until next time, guys, take care.